welcome to another 3ABN Today cooking program. We are
the Micheff sisters.
I'm Linda.
I'm Brenda.
And I'm Cinda.
And we are excited about our program today. We are entitling this program Family Favorites. Now, we have a brand new cookbook that just came out called Family Favorites, and all the recipes, or some of the recipes, are in this cookbook.
But you know what, to be honest, it's really hard to have just one favorite. So that's why there's an S after it, because we have a whole lot of favorites.
And I couldn't choose. Just when we were talking about the themes, I think Linda came up with the idea, why don't we do an entree of our family favorite entrees? And we were trying to think about what they could be. And honestly, it's like, whose favorite? Is it, you know, my favorite? Is it my children's favorite? Is it my husband's favorite? You know,
right. That's right.
And so trying to figure that out was really difficult for me. I'm, you know, sure it was for you too.
So for my recipes, they're someone's favorite.
In our family.
And I have all, obviously we love all the recipes, or we wouldn't have put them in that cookbook. So that's a good thing. It's not a bad thing, you know, so that's a good thing. And today, we have quite a few. We've each picked some of our favorites for whatever reason, and we'd like to show you what we're going to prepare today on this program.
We're going to start off with Mama Mia Meatloaf.
And I like the name of that,
That's
too.
interesting.
And then vegetable lasagna, and it's not your typical lasagna, actually.
Oh, this will pop your curiosity. East Coast nut roast.
I think so too, and I think they're gonna love it.
We're gonna have zesty vegetable rice.
And who doesn't love rice? And then we have the Rockin Rhodes Burger. I can't wait to tell you about this one. It's fun.
And then chicken roll-ups.
Ooh, and now is that a Mexican dish, or is that a...
You'll have to wait and find out.
She's not going to tell us, folks. She is going to keep that a secret till the end. But what isn't going to be a secret is your recipe. Linda, you want to read it for them?
Yes, for the Mama Mia Meatloaf, you will need 1 medium onion, 1/4 cup of cold water, 1/4 cup of Bragg's liquid aminos, 1½ teaspoon of McKay's beef style seasoning, 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, 1 12-ounce package of Eve's meatless ground burger, 1/2 cup of pecan meal, 1 cup of quick oats, 2 cups of finely ground fresh breadcrumbs, and 1/2 cup of fruit sweetened ketchup.
Ooh, that sounds delicious. You know, I wanted to tell all of you out there, a friend of ours was just visiting with us in the prep kitchen, Tita. And
Tita Denzi. Yeah.
Tita Denzi. And Tita said to me, she said, Cinda, she said, there's a lot of people that say, oh, you know, I can't write this recipe down so fast. It's, you know, it just comes so fast. And she said, tell them that they can get the recipes online, and what they need to write down is the tips you all give them throughout the program. And I thought that was a really good idea.
It's a really good idea.
Thank you, Tita.
So you do want your notebook. Get that out. Just don't worry about writing down the whole recipe.
Right. Just write down the tips that you learned.
You can find the recipes on the 3ABN website, as well as our Micheff Sister website. Just go to micheffsisters.com, and that's MICHEFF sisters.com. So you can find it there as well. And so what are we
gonna do right now? Well, I'm gonna have you start with some blending over here.
Okay, I have a feeling I'm gonna just really love this.
Okay, you can put your water in.
Okay, I kind of remember when our sister Cinda was over here blending for me, and it kind of squirted out. Did anybody see that program? It went everywhere. So I'll try not to do that to you today. Here we go.
And then the Bragg's liquid aminos.
All right.
And then you're going to put all your onions in there.
Okay.
Woo! Well,
okay, well, we got a little onion in the blender and a little onion on the counter. No problem with that. Huh?
Well, you know what?
Some seasoning.
I always tell my kids, when they were little, I would always say, don't worry about the mess. We'll have fun cleaning it up just like we had fun making it.
That's right.
So don't worry about it. And
there we go. All right, now just blend it till smooth.
Okay. Now you're assuming I know what I'm doing here, so.
I do.
Okay.
Nope, that one.
Okay.
And just pour it in this bowl.
All right.
You did good, sis.
Yeah, I slopped it everywhere, and I did good slopping it, though, didn't I?
This is a pretty easy recipe for a loaf, and it freezes really well. So you can make one up and don't bake it, just pat it in your pan, and then we'll show you and freeze it. Now we're going to add some Eve's burger, and I just love this. This has become one of my favorites.
I really do. But if you don't get it where
you can use any kind.
You can use any kind of your favorite
vegan burger.
You can always do homemade gluten and ground it up.
Right.
That's right.
And then we're going to put some good oats in it, some quick oats. I've not tried the whole oats. So, and here's some pecan meal. So you've got your protein going on in there.
Okay.
And we're going to stir this up pretty much.
Okay.
And
now, can you freeze this recipe without baking it?
That's what I was going to say. Thanks for bringing me back to that, sis. It does
what
really.
Are sisters for?
Yeah, it does really well frozen. I don't bake it first. I mix it up, pat it in the pan, and then I freeze it, and I just pull it out and put it in the oven whenever I needed it.
You know, I love recipes like that because if you have company that comes over unexpectedly,
right,
you're never, you know, like, what am I going to fix? And we learned that from Mom.
Mm-hmm.
She always had something in the freezer.
She did.
So
now, could you also make patties out of this?
You know, I suppose you could.
She never has, I'm guessing.
I haven't.
I'm thinking.
All right, so why don't you guys make some patties, right, and let us know how they turn out.
Now, I used my homemade bread right here, and you just take that, and if you don't have a blender or anything, then you just break it up really fine. But I just used my home-baked bread and broke it up really fine, and I didn't dry it out first. This is just right from fresh breadcrumbs. Sometimes they call for dried crumbs,
bread.
but this is fresh breadcrumbs, so you can...
You're getting all that wonderful nutrition from the whole wheat as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
okay,
good.
now you've got to spray the pan. And I have a recipe online that you can get for fruit sweetened ketchup. Use whatever ketchup you want. But I have a recipe that you can get that comes with this Mia Meatloaf. And all you need to do is take all the ingredients, blend it, put it in the refrigerator and chill. And it'll keep a couple weeks in the refrigerator or so.
Mamma mia!
That's right. So what I'm going to do here is you'll hold it for me.
That.
Thank you very much. We're just going to put this in the pan here.
I love
Better
meatloaf.
get every last drop. Mom said she was watching. You know, I was really, I thought it was really funny how we get quite a bit of mail from people telling us that they love that. We get the last drop off. We are just like your mama. We tell her she trained you girls right. Get every last drop.
Well, we lived in a time when every last drop had to count.
That's right. You couldn't waste food.
And so there wasn't even anything left in a can or anything. So you just smooth it all over like this, pat it in your pan. If you want to bake it at 350, and it really only takes like about approximately 30 minutes in a hot oven. You put it in a hot oven at 350, and it takes about 30 minutes. You pull it out, and you put your favorite ketchup on it, and you serve it.
And could you bake it with the ketchup on?
You could bake it also with the ketchup on it.
Yeah.
Ooh. You could.
Yeah, that's good.
But for this one, I just put it on top. Or you can serve it just like this and the ketchup on the side and whoever wants some on. Or you can serve this with your favorite gravy.
Ooh. So let's take a look. You've already got one right over here ready to go. And boy,
oh, that looks delicious.
You better hold Cinda back. She might just get a bite of that. And I love the garnish on that as well.
Yes, Cinda did that for me. She's a garnish queen for sure.
Yes, you are.
You know what else is delicious, Brenda, is your vegetable lasagna.
Oh,
why don't you read that recipe for them?
Awesome. For my vegetable lasagna, you will need 1 medium onion, 2 cups of sweet peppers, 4 cups of fresh mushrooms, 5 cups of yellow summer squash, 5 cups of zucchini, 1 teaspoon of sweet basil, 2 teaspoons of parsley. You will also need 1 teaspoon of red pepper flakes, 2 teaspoons of salt, 2 cloves of garlic, 1/4 teaspoon of oregano, 6 cups of spaghetti sauce of your choice, 1 package of no-cook lasagna noodles or whole wheat grain lasagna noodles. and of course, non-stick cooking spray. I say of course because I'm really cooking that way now.
Right.
Where I'm trying not to use all the extra oil. Just a couple tablespoons adds, you know, quite a bit of fat to your recipe. So, you know, if we don't need it,
but still a couple tablespoons. If you need that oil, it's better than the usual. I mean, Grandma would just say just a little bit
Let's
of
save the oil
for
the ones that it really counts for.
Exactly. So if I can skimp on it, I do, and but I don't where it makes a difference. I'll be honest about that. So this recipe is really I created for my family. I didn't, you know, I don't like to use. I've never been a cottage cheese lover anyway. My sister's can tell you I just never ever really liked that. And so any type of cheese product I've tried to stay away from. And most lasagna, you think of lasagna, you think of it's very heavily laden with cheese. Well, this recipe doesn't have any cheese and not even any vegan cheese in it. I left it out completely, and it's really purely a vegetable lasagna. And I recently made this dish for my assistant, Melissa Hoffman, and our graphic designer, CQ Neibauer, and they both gave it, you know, thumbs up and said that they loved it, and that was, they said the word, it was rockin', so. So I think it's now one of their favorite recipes too, and hopefully it'll be one of yours as well. Linda, you can just start, I've already pre-cooked some of the onions just to save on time. And we'll just crank that up there, and I'm going to put in some slivered peppers. And I've used a combination of sweet peppers of red, yellow, and orange. I love the different colors that it gives. And Linda's going to tell you.
We need to color our plates like a rainbow.
That's true.
Because then you'll have good nutrition.
So crank it up. Is that as high as it'll go, sis? Probably so.
It is as high as it goes.
All right. So we're going to saute that up, and then I'm going to add the fresh mushrooms. And you can add, you know, sometimes I use a combination of portobello mushrooms and then the regular button mushrooms. You can choose your mushroom that you like. I tend to, you know.
I like the portobello because it's got a hearty flavor.
The baby ones, baby
I just
portobellos.
like it.
Yep, that's good too. And then I have taken zucchini, and I have just cut it in half and then cut it in half again so that they're like basically slices like that. And we're just going to put that right in here, or at least maybe try.
And this is great to know one more thing that you can do with zucchini, because usually zucchini grows really well and everybody has abundance of it.
That's true. And there's lots of
I cut it like this, and then I freeze it in bags, and that way I have it for recipes. You can
that's a good idea.
Good idea.
That's a good idea. Someone just recently
I think we're going to say my pan is overflowing. Fill it up and
there's your challenge, sis.
Overflow.
Okay, so now we're just going to put the seasonings in. And And sis, can you spray that pan with some non-stick cooking spray for me, please?
And you still want it?
I have some here, sis.
Okay. Oh, and you know what? I should have done something first, so don't do what I do. Do as I say.
Nice.
Before I put any of that in, I like to put my garlic. You know, fresh garlic. But hey,
not you know what? It's not a deal breaker.
If truth be told, I have done this before, so I've made that same mistake before. So you're okay, really. But sis, I'm just going to let you just, you know, put that.
Well,
garlic
turnabout's fair play because I did have you do mine, so I guess that's.
And then just put the salt right in there.
And you'd like me to get that evenly distributed, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I sure would.
That's what I was thinking you were going to say.
You're doing a good job.
All right.
Wow, that's taking some muscle.
This one just, sometimes it gets a tough skin on it and it doesn't come out as good.
So you just reposition it.
I'm going to reposition
it'll work fine. Yep. I love fresh garlic. I know you can get it in many different ways now. You can get it chopped garlic in a jar. You can get the whole cloves in a jar. You can get garlic powder, garlic, you know, flakes. But honestly, most of the time, I want a fresh clove of garlic. If I really want that real rich, intense garlic flavor, I just don't like to skimp on it. And if I'm going to use it out of a jar, it's going to be the whole cloves, one that I crush. That's going to be my favorite. I'm not a big fan of the chopped and crushed garlic you get in a jar, the flavor is different. So you need to know that when you're making your recipes. It will be a little bit different. So
that's same with fresh onions. That's really the.
I actually moved you over here, but I'll go ahead and move you back
all
over
right.
here.
You want me to move over here?
Yeah,
I can move over here.
It's closer to the onion smell.
There's a method to her.
No. I promise. I was just really making it easy for you. But not any of us love raw onions, so our onions have to be cooked.
My husband loves it when I chop onions because it gets all over my hands and everything, and he thinks that smells like a good perfume.
Oh my God!
I am serious. He loves it.
Wow, that's inexpensive too.
Well, when you're going out, just cut an onion in half.
I didn't say everybody would like that. I said he likes it.
A little bit on your wrist.
Yeah, well, for this record, it wouldn't be my essence I would be going after at all. But so, sis, while she's doing that, I'm going to ask you to just cover the bottom. And I'm using today for this recipe the non-boil lasagna noodles. I love these because it's obviously so easy, and in this fast-paced world we live in, anytime you can cut a few corners, it's great. And this particular recipe, when you're using these, if you make it up the day ahead of time and you see that, if you make it up a day ahead of time and let it sit in your refrigerator for a while, it is really even better. So I like to make it up the day ahead of time, at least the night before. Let it sit in my refrigerator all night.
If you don't have those, I just use regular lasagna noodles and make it the day before, and it still works. So
I do the same thing.
I was just going to tell them that. So that's good. Thanks. Yeah. If you don't have this, I have not found the whole wheat or whole grain pasta in the no boil, but they do have it in the regular lasagna. They do. They have it in the regular lasagna. So like my sisters were saying, if you do make it up ahead of time the day before and let it sit, you're still okay.
You don't need to pre-boil them.
Yeah, and I actually like that.
I do too.
So anyway, sis, we're going to put the first layer down, and this particular pan will take 3.5. So your challenge, should you choose to accept it?
Oh, I have a feeling I'm not going to have a choice.
She accepts.
You need to really snap this in line. Now, let's see. Oh, you think you're going to do that way, huh? Oh, she's got a method. Look at that. That was pretty good. I'm impressed. Okay. Now, is that pretty stirred up over there?
I'm doing my best.
All right. If it's pretty stirred up, Cinda, I'm going to have you do this. Have Linda put the first layer in there, and after
Should I turn the fire off?
Yeah, you can keep letting it cook. It's not going to hurt anything.
So I just have to make sure I don't burn it.
Yep. And sometimes, depending on your mushrooms and your vegetables, it can accumulate some juice in the bottom. And I tend not to put that in there, but it's not going to kill anything if you do.
I'm going this route.
Okay.
Oh, that's
yeah,
better.
that makes some sense there. Yep.
No,
yeah.
you're
That's
thinking.
actually why I put it there, sis, for you.
Well, thank you.
I was thinking of you.
How much do you want me to put?
Just another in that corner is good. Now, Cinda put a little sauce. And then the next layer of lasagna noodles, and this actually makes 3 layers. And when you layer this all up like that, get your 3 layers and just keep layering it up, you're going to end up with just your sauce. And it's going to look just like this one right over here. That's already been
amazing.
And I have to tell you, folks, our sister Cinda, our garnish queen, garnished this one too. So you get your good ideas off of that one. You use just some grape tomatoes.
I use some grape tomatoes and some rosemary, and then a little bit of yellow pepper.
Isn't that beautiful? Well, a recipe you're not going to want to miss. So get your notes out for your tips on this one: East Coast nut roast.
For this recipe, you will need 3 cups of water, 1/3 cup of extra virgin olive oil, 1/3 cup of Bragg's liquid aminos, 4 cups of bran flakes, 2 cups of walnuts, 1 cup of pecans, 2 large onions, 3 tablespoons of cornstarch, 4 cups of medium grain brown rice cooked, 1 tablespoon of dried sage, 1/4 cup of parsley, 2 teaspoons of sea salt, 1 teaspoon of dried basil, 1 teaspoon of dried thyme, and 2 tablespoons of ground flaxseed. Now, I got the idea for this recipe when I was out visiting my children in Loma Linda, and I have a lot of friends out in Loma Linda, and one of my good friends, Susie Brockman, had us over to her house, and she made this roast. And I said, oh, Susie, I really like this roast. And so she said, oh, let me give you the recipe. So I took the recipe back home, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to make a few little changes to this, and hence the West Coast roast became an East Coast roast.
Oh, I was trying to figure that one out.
That's a pretty creative title, isn't it?
So that's where the name came up too, because I don't even remember what Susie called it, but I thought, it's now become an East Coast roast. So.
Yeah, I just happened to think any one of our recipes might be somebody else's East Coast nut roast or whatever.
You know, and that's right. I tell people that, and we all say that. If there's things in our recipes that you just don't, you know, like, oh, I really don't like this, or I don't like that, substitute for something you do like.
Make it your own recipe.
Right. If you like a different type of nut, substitute your favorite nut. You may want cashews in this.
Right.
You know, and so you can create your own recipe. Well, it's got walnuts.
Well,
maybe we should just go ahead and make the recipe.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm going to start with putting my liquids in a bowl. So I'll put in my water. And then if you want to put in the oil and the Bragg's liquid aminos.
Okay.
And then just kind of blend this up just a little bit. And now let's put all the dry ingredients into here.
In here?
Sis. Put all our dry ingredients.
A little bit more right there.
Oh,
I
well.
think we better get that.
so your favorite bran flakes, right?
Use your favorite, bran flakes. And then this is chopped pecans.
Ah, here's the
Brenda's
walnut.
favorite nut.
I love pecans.
Yeah. I added those for you.
Thank you.
Brenda's favorite nut. And I'm going to add my seasonings into my liquid.
Your husband, Joel, finds the best pecans every year.
You know, I don't know. He orders them from somewhere.
I'm going to have to ask him to give me that secret because I want some of those for next year. They're the biggest, you know, most beautiful pecans I've ever seen. And forget, you know, your favorite dessert. I could just have a bowl of those. Those are good.
Sis, go ahead and put the flaxseed in with the dry ingredients and mix that up. And then I've already pre-cooked our onion, so let's add the onion.
Ooh, it's still steaming.
Okay, and then we're going to add our brown rice. We're going to give Linda a real challenge here.
Whew. I feel like I need a pair of gloves or something.
And I add cornstarch for the binder, so you don't have to use your eggs.
And that is something that a lot of people ask us too. Someone just emailed us this week that they remembered that we used something, but they couldn't remember what it was. But basically a good rule of thumb is if you use 1 tablespoon of cornstarch and 1 tablespoon of water per egg.
That's
right. And that way you don't have to, you know, use the egg. And that works in most recipes. That works really well. And I put that tablespoon of water because you're getting that, you know, liquid in that you wouldn't have had with the regular egg.
Okay, sis, here's your challenge.
Oh, dear.
I should have put a bigger bowl.
I was barely getting this mixed up.
Yes, but she loves challenges, don't you?
I do.
And she's good at it, too. Well, I'm getting it on me.
There you go.
And now, Susie likes her things really nice and crispy, and my husband and I do too.
I do too.
So Susie baked it 2 hours, and I do too. But if you don't want yours to be as crispy, then watch it because you'll want to take it out at 1.5 hours. And then you can use 1 huge big casserole dish, or you can divide it into 2 9x13 casserole dishes. Here, sis.
If you want it crispier, what if I do this for you so that you, I'll tip it like this and you can.
Okay.
Put it in there. We'll just go ahead and put it in. How's that?
Right.
If you want it crispier, then you need to
divide it into 2 9x13 pans, which I really like it crispier. Because that's the way Susie did it, and I like that crunch.
I do too.
So there's that. So here's what it looks like in the 9x13. See how nice and crispy? In fact, we're gonna just cut us a piece. Look at that nice crispy. I think that's just calling and begging to be tasted. What do you think?
Yes, I think so. I notice she goes for the crusty part too, doesn't she?
That's
And I'm
delicious.
going to have some after the program, folks. I do taste after the program.
But what I like is how she decorated the top of it with some
ketchup. Yes, look at that. I really like it, and just a little bit of parsley. And you can be creative and make any design you want on there and kind of
That's
have
right.
fun.
And you know, my husband loves this the next day in sandwiches.
Yes.
He loves that.
Oh, I would too.
I do too.
That would be really good.
So try it and tell me what you think of the East Coast nut roast.
Well, I have another recipe I think you'll enjoy is Linda's Zesty Vegetable Rice.
Yes, would you read the recipe?
I sure will. For this, you will need 6 cups of hot water, 1 cup of brown rice, uncooked, 1 28-ounce can of diced canned tomatoes, undrained, 1 cup of onions, 1/2 cup of celery, 4 tablespoons of fresh jalapeno peppers, 1/4 cup of carrots, 1 clove of garlic, 1 teaspoon of sea salt, 1 teaspoon of McKay's chicken-style seasoning, 1 teaspoon of seasoned salt, 1/2 teaspoon of red pepper flakes, 1/2 teaspoon of ground cumin, 1 cup of canned dark red kidney beans, drained and rinsed, 1/2 cup of Eve's ground round or vegan burger of your choice, 1 cup of broccoli florets, and some fresh jalapeno peppers and chives for garnish.
Well, we are going to make some zesty vegetable rice, and as you can tell, we have a lot of color going on here. Plus, we have some legumes, which is dark red kidney beans.
Very good for you.
Yes, lots of protein. And when you mix this with rice, you get like a perfect protein. And so I have some water already boiling in my kettle, 6 cups of water. And I'm going to start out by putting my brown rice in there, and it's uncooked. So then we're going to put the onion in there. You can put the celery in.
You know, once you get used to eating brown rice, you really, white rice just doesn't taste good to me. I really have a hard time eating white rice.
Well, the only thing I can say that I really like white rice for anymore is Mom's homemade cabbage rolls. And I think it's just because we grew up with...
It's a family favorite.
Right.
Yeah, it's a family favorite. And so Mom always made it with white rice. And when I make it with brown, it doesn't seem right.
It doesn't seem
because
right.
it's not like Mom's. But I agree with you. I like brown rice the best.
And for the record, I think probably all 3 of us would tell you that our favorite, dish is Mom's homemade cabbage
I'm going to put some sea salt in here.
And for anyone that's really would like to taste those,
Red pepper flakes.
the Mom's cabbage rolls are in our first cookbook. It's called Cooking with the Micheff Sisters, and it's the blue cover on it. Mom's cabbage roll recipe is in there. So
And this
that's right.
is tomatoes, diced tomatoes.
Since we're talking about family favorites.
And you know, my daughter Katie makes hers with brown rice.
I have made it with that brown rice. I just prefer the white rice.
Just because that's what we always had.
I will agree with you all on that one.
Yeah.
That I
So,
do like.
Cinda has a jalapeno pepper over here. We're going to have her slice that and put that in. And I've got some carrots. And so we're going to let all that cook. And a lot of times I just pretty much put a lid on it. And let it cook. And the water will cook down and it'll be thick. You cook it until it's thick.
And then once it's thick, what do you do? Do you want this garlic in here as well?
Yes, if you could put that garlic in
Okay.
there. And it doesn't matter.
Tell you what.
I add my beans later, but they can go in now too. And I'm going to put my Eve's burger in.
Okay.
And for those of you that have know what a Walmart store is, they carry it usually there in their grocery department there. So,
and also in each one of our cookbooks, if you look in the back, we have what we call a resource page, and any ingredients that you might not be familiar with, we show you on the back and tell you how you can get it and where it's at.
now I will add the jalapeno.
Oh, don't forget that one. Oh, those are good.
Now this cooks until it gets thick, and then you add the broccoli just about maybe 5 minutes before you're going to serve it, because all you want to do is have your broccoli just tender crisp. You know, you want it so where it's not mushy, and also you want to keep that nice vibrant green color. So that's really important.
That's true. Well,
and we have one right over here so you can see what it looks like when it gets thick.
And also, you want to take note of Cinda's special garnishing right there, too. She's really helped us a lot today in the program. We depend on her a lot for garnish.
Now
I've learned a lot from you, sis.
Oh, you're amazing. See how it thickened up?
What did you do for this one, for the garnish, Cinda?
Oh, that's rosemary, and I made a, actually, the garnish got turned around. I'll turn it around for you. It is a jalapeno pepper. There, you can see it. It's a jalapeno pepper with a tomato rose in the middle and rosemary on the side.
Isn't that pretty? Well, our next recipe is a really special one for me. I can't wait to tell you about it, and I've named it Rockin Rhodes Burger. And for this, you will need 1 medium onion, 2 cloves of garlic fresh, 1 cup of water, 6 cups of Pepperidge Farm herb seasoned stuffing mix, or seasoned breadcrumbs, 2 cups of brown rice, 2 cups of pecans, 1 15-ounce can of mild chili beans undrained, 2 15-ounce cans of black beans undrained, 1 teaspoon of cayenne pepper, 1/2 cup of mild green chilies, and additional water as needed. Now, we were talking earlier about how it's so many of our family favorites, whether it's our children's or ours or our husbands or whatever, and I wanted to include friends' family favorites. And we have some really good friends, Pam and Jimmy Rhodes, and we love them dearly. And I happened to be on the phone with Pam, you know, and talking to her one evening, and she said, I just love your veggie burgers. And she said, and I needed to have one where I'm supposed to have a lot less sodium. And she said, do you have anything like that? And I said, well, I'll just make you something. And she goes, oh, I don't want to trouble you. Know, they wouldn't put anybody out for anything in the world. I was like, no, I'll come up with something for you. So I went in the kitchen, I started experimenting, and I came up with this burger, and veggie burger, and they loved it. And so I typed it up and sent it to them, too, so they'd have the recipe as well. And I named it Rockin Rhodes Burger.
And you know what? If you've ever spent any time with Pam and Jimmy, you have a rockin' good time. So that was a good name.
I don't know any two people that you're going to have more fun with. They really are. And both of them are so quick-witted. I mean, they have something, a comeback for everything. And they are just
truly is a rockin' time.
And that's really what made me think of it. I was thinking about
I love their music.
I do too.
I love to watch.
The most talented two people.
Playing the piano and the organ and blowing the horn and everything. I don't know how he does it. I just don't know.
And Pam,
it's amazing.
And Pam with her singing, she just when Jimmy accompanying her, and she just sings from her heart. It will touch your very soul. It really will. And Pam and Jimmy, we love you. And this recipe is for you, the Rockin Rhodes Burger. So to do this, and you're going to love how easy it is. I know Pam and Jimmy are going to love that too about it. But we're going to start with some breadcrumbs. I just used the Pepperidge Farm seasoned dressing mix. Just because I like it. I like the herb seasons in it. But you can use, if you're going to use just seasoned breadcrumbs, get the Italian seasoned breadcrumbs. You can do that as well. And if you notice in the ingredients, I didn't have any salt. Nor did I have McKay's seasoning or chicken seasoning, which can have some sodium in it as well. The only sodium that is in this recipe is what you're going to get off of the canned beans. That's it. So that's my sodium level for it. So that's how low it is. And then I've got the brown rice, which is so good for you. And if you can dump in the nuts. the pecans. Linda, you can dump in the cayenne pepper, and I'm going to let my sisters just dump. You can dump in the, well, actually, why don't you mix that first, Sis? And while she's mixing that, I just wanted to share something with you about the first step of this, which I should have shared with you in the beginning. Before I even start this process, usually, I take my onion, I take a cup of water, and I also take the garlic, and I put in a food processor and puree it. Because I love the taste of onions, but I don't like to chew them. And I really like it done. So this gives you that good flavor without actually having to see them. So, and I have some green chilies, and you can put that in there. And then also, Cinda, when you're done, put this in. And Linda, you can put in the beans. And while they're doing that, guess what I'm going to get? This recipe calls for some really special kitchen equipment. And so do you want to see what my special equipment is? Voila! It's my handy-dandy latex kitchen gloves, and I keep a box in my kitchen all the time.
I do too.
So anytime that I'm going to mix something up with my hands, I'm going to get my gloves on to do it. And so I'm ready now. Let me have that spatula for a minute first, and I will mix with that. But all we're going to do now is just mix as much as we can here. And a bigger bowl is probably better, but then someone just told me, I was speaking at a church not long ago, and someone came up to me and said, I think you are famous for something. And I said, oh, really? What's that? And she said, I think you're famous for always using the smallest bowl and putting the most ingredients in it.
Well, we're supposed to make the most out of everything. So
I guess I have to plead guilty to that because it seems like I do it a lot. But it's not intentional. If we had bigger bowls, well, I don't know. We'd probably get bigger and bigger recipes, so that probably wouldn't be good.
No, I think that's the truth.
you know what? Did I miss something? Or there's not any even vegan burger in this, is there?
No, and this
That's kind of cool.
And I'm glad you brought that up, Sis, because this is a great recipe for. It doesn't have any soy in it because if you're allergic to soy at all, a lot of veggie burgers you see, you'll have some type of gluten or soy product in it, and this has no soy product. And it has the beans for the protein, and so I chose 2 different kinds of beans, and
you don't even have to mash
and you've
them.
got the nuts for the protein. So now I'm going to get my handy dandy equipment in here, and I'm just going to mix this together. And usually just this is good alone, but if you and mix it, just really mix in there good, and those breadcrumbs start absorbing the liquid there in there.
Now, can you make these ahead of time and freeze them?
Absolutely.
Do you bake them first, or do you?
You can spray that pan there if you would, Sis. You do. I do bake them first to hold their shape. So if you are going to, and I bake them at 400 degrees oven. So I would bake them. First, if you're going to freeze them, bake them for 15 minutes on one side, and then spray them with some nonstick cooking spray, flip them over, and bake another 15 minutes. Take them out, let them cool, and then put them in a freezer container so that you can put them in your freezer. If you want to have them serve them now, then you would bake them just a little longer, maybe 20 minutes on each side. Sometimes some people say, well, I just like a fried veggie burger. I don't like to skimp on that. And if that's your thing, it's okay. It's not something you eat every day then. So you can use a little olive oil or canola oil. And when you get them out of the freezer, you can take them out the night before, and then you can put a little oil in your skillet and fry them up fresh as well, too. So,
and Sis, I just wanted to say, don't you bake your East nut roast at 400
oh,
degrees, too?
good.
You know
Yeah,
what?
I was thinking 400.
That's right. No, the East Coast nut roast, you need to bake that at 350 degrees. And remember, bake it about an hour and a half, check it. And then if you like yours crunchier, then go ahead and bake it another half an hour.
So it's
350 degrees. Thanks, Sis.
Okay, and you can make these whatever size you want. Usually a good rule of thumb, I try to make a 3-inch patty because it fits most regular size hamburger buns. And you just shape it nice, and she has sprayed a pan here, and you put it on the pan like that.
Now, do you spray the burger again before you bake it?
Before you bake it, you're going to spray it again, and
can you use it just for a patty at meals with some?
well, I was going to say you can, and in fact, a brown gravy with this is so good, and you can even make meatballs out of this, and do the same thing with meatballs. They are delicious. So you can bake it in the oven,
lots of options.
make a homemade mushroom sauce, or some type of a spaghetti sauce or whatever, and bake it in the oven. It is delicious. And we have some right over here, and Cinda has garnished them with some beautiful carrot roses. Isn't that beautiful?
Well, I just wanted to brighten them up, you know?
Well, what do we have coming up next?
Oh, now we have my chicken roll-ups.
Oh, that is...
Let me read the recipe for you. You will need 2 cups of brown rice, cooked and cooled, 1½ tablespoons of olive oil, 2½ cups of frozen sweet corn, 1 medium poblano pepper, 1 medium red bell pepper, 1 medium sweet onion, 1 tablespoon of ground cumin, 1 tablespoon of chili powder, 3 tablespoons of Thai chili sauce, 1 15-ounce can of black beans, 2 cups of vegan soy chicken, 1/2 cup of vegetable broth, and 18 10-inch flour tortillas. For the tomato sauce, you will need 2 14.5-ounce cans of chili-style chunky tomatoes, 1 15-ounce can of tomato sauce, and 1 20-ounce jar of picante sauce or salsa. Now, this recipe, I know Brenda will remember because this really, truly is one of my favorites. I created this recipe for one of my husband's birthday parties. I threw him.
Everybody knows a ton of these.
Everybody knows I love parties. And so for one of my husband's birthdays, I decided to have an ancient one party. And so I had everybody come dressed like from Pharaoh's court, and I had a Middle Eastern meal.
Yeah.
And so this was the entree for that meal. So we're going to learn the recipe. And Brenda came over. Linda couldn't come, but Brenda came over, and you know, coming across the street is a little easier than driving 20 hours from Wisconsin.
Yes, this is true. This is true. But I tell you, it was one of the funnest birthday parties I've ever been to, and I think everybody loved it and would probably say the same thing. Nobody is going to forget that party. It was really awesome.
It was fun. It made the paper.
Yeah, that's right. Our Knoxville News.
What I really loved about it is she involved all her family in it, because all the children and the children in the church, they all helped serve.
That's right.
So I saw the pictures. That's how I know. I know I didn't go, but I know because I saw the pictures.
In fact, let's throw up a picture right now so that they can see exactly what that looked like. Isn't that really fun? Doesn't that look fun? It really does, doesn't it? Okay, well, what are we going to do? Let's show them how to make it.
All right, we're going to start off by take just a little bit of olive oil, and I want you to saute the onions and the corn. Now you're wanting,
we talked about when you don't sacrifice the oil.
Right.
This is
You
one
need
of those
a little
recipes.
bit with this. And so we're going to make sure the onions are clear, but we want our corn to be a little bit black.
Okay, Mom, are you looking? I got it to the last drop. I really did.
We want our corn to be a little bit blackened.
Yep.
So crank that heat up
It's as
high.
high as it'll go. Trust me.
And then while we're doing that, I'm going to set that over there. While we're doing that, as we want the corn to be, let's clear this away here. We're going to cut a poblano pepper. Now, I left this whole because when I was talking about the recipe, I had somebody go, "What's a poblano pepper?" And this is a poblano pepper. And
it's different than your green bell pepper that you think of your green
it's
sweet
different,
pepper.
and it's
very
not
hot?
like a jalapeno pepper. Well, I can give you a taste of it.
No, that's
you can
okay.
see.
I'll take your word for it. Let's just share with them if it's hot or not.
See, smell. We'll let them smell in unison here.
Oh, well, it
smells
not
good.
too much.
Yeah, it doesn't smell strong. So
Now you're going to have them different, so I'll tell you. very mild. There'll be just a tiny bit, but really poblano, it's a taste. It's not real spicy.
Then can you use your seeds in there too, or no?
No, see these seeds? I cut these seeds or just take them out. I don't use the seeds.
Now, I have a confession to make. When I was browning this for you during the party and stuff, I let it set there for a little bit. I didn't turn it too often to help get it a little bit golden on the bottom.
That's exactly right.
How about that?
Tell
I
you.
think I done good then, huh?
You did real good, sis.
Well, after we made about 200 of them, I think Brenda could teach this recipe as much as I could.
But it doesn't matter how much work we're doing when we're together. If we're together,
so
it's fun. It's just
It's fun making other people happy. And food is a way to do that. And you know, I think it's really neat that when we get to heaven, that Jesus is preparing this huge, huge banquet for us.
That's right.
To share his heavenly food with us. And he didn't have to do that. It's going to be a very elegant banquet, and he's going to serve all of us. So, you know, there's something about having food and fellowshipping and fun that is so special.
It is.
It really is, and I I love to sit around with the family and just enjoy a leisure meal, you know, where you're not rushing.
Put those in there.
Oh, thanks.
Well, I think it gives an opportunity to tell, really, what happened during the day, because if you're just rushing and hurrying up eating, you have no time to share anything.
Right.
You're just,
Family meals are so important.
Right, but when you sit there and you listen to one another, and that triggers something. Oh, this happened today, or that happened, and you share
Not
it.
the time to criticize your
No.
kids or each other,
No.
or point out all
No.
the things you should have done that day.
No.
You know,
It's a time to listen
That's
and
right.
enjoy and laughter.
And bond.
Lots
Yeah,
of laughter.
it's lots of laughter.
Yep.
I remember when we were kids that Daddy would tell stories about when he was little.
Oh,
and
yes.
we would laugh so hard over the stuff that he would tell us, because we couldn't believe that he would do something.
Because our dad, I mean, he lived up to his name. They didn't always call it Micheff, they called it Mischief, and he lived up to that name.
Be careful. If we've been known to be told that about it, call that name a time or two ourselves. But I really especially love the stories where he would start with, now kids, I would say, Daddy, tell us another story, tell us another story. We want to know about you when you were little. And he'd say, okay, I'll tell you another story, but don't you do this. Then we knew it was really going to be a great story.
And these happened mostly around the table after we had finished eating.
That's right.
We were all sitting around, even while we were eating. And laughter helps digest your food better, I believe.
Yeah.
You know, that's my opinion, because I always feel really good when we bond together over laughter and food, and it just makes a happy family. And those are the treasured memories that when you get your kids leave home, that they want to come back to home. They'll
That's
always
right.
draw you back home.
Exactly. Some of the things that I incorporated too from, you know, a lot of the things we did growing up, you know, we carried over into our families, you know, as our kids were growing up. And I especially like the fact that, you know, if Mom wanted us to try something, she'd be like, at least take a taste before you tell me you don't like it. And I like that idea as well. You know, there's so many different types of foods out there that, you know, and we all have different taste buds. That, you know, I don't like to force a child to eat something they hate, because there's other things that, you know, they might like, but that are equally as nutritious. And I like to just taste it first. If you don't like it, okay, we don't have to eat it again, but at least take a taste.
Right.
You know?
I'm going to add now the poblano peppers. Normally, I would let that corn get dark, but I'm going to go ahead and add it. And we're going to add
Time, huh?
because of sake of time. So normally do yours a little bit more. What is this broccoli here for?
Oh, that was from my recipe.
Oh, well. Thanks. It's good. It doesn't go in this recipe, but it can go in here. Now, you can use your favorite.
See what I mean? Everything we do with Cinda is fun.
There we
You
go.
can use your, oh, you know what I forgot? You gotta
What?
you gotta break this up.
Okay, well, we'll do it
look.
this way. I can do this. Oh, here. Well, you've heard of...
Hop in there, sis.
Okay, we're going to do that real quick.
You need to shred
I think you guys are doing really good.
I forgot. You do not want this to
But
be...
you don't want the large pieces in your burrito.
You don't.
Well, I'm glad that you know.
And you can use your favorite vegan chicken. And just shred it up, because you don't want those big pieces, okay? Okay, sis, go ahead and add your spices.
I'll get a paper towel here and wipe our hands, sis. Okay.
Here's yours.
Thank you.
And then add the black beans. Oh, you know what? I'm going to add the sriracha first. I use, you can use any kind of a hot sauce that you want. I use a Thai chili sauce, the sriracha. But you can use whatever you want. You got to get all that out.
All right, here you go.
Here's a spoon. We got to get that out. That's. I like that. Okay, and what you're going to do is mix all that up. Put your black beans in.
Ooh, doesn't that color just come to life?
And put your rice in.
Oh, you didn't just do that to me.
And then I use just a little bit of vegetable broth. And you're doing a good job.
I'm trying, but oh my.
Oh, you don't want all of it.
You might not need all of it, because you don't want it to be...
What is it you don't need?
More all the vegetable broth.
Uh-huh.
Okay, you got that about mixed up. Now just put me a little bit here. Let's put this one. And then what you're going to do, a little bit more.
Okay.
And what you're going to do is you fold it this way. You roll a little bit and tuck. Then you roll like this, like
Tuck
this,
the ends in.
and like roll it like that. And now you're going to put that on a baking sheet. You're going to spray it with your non-stick baking spray. Bake it for 350 for, no wait, this bakes at 400 for 30 minutes. And then you're going to serve it drizzled with your sauce. And I gave you the recipe for the sauce, and all you need to do is just heat that sauce up and then just drizzle it over. And I've already prepared some that you can see.
Right there. Doesn't that not look delicious? Well, these recipes, as well as many of the ones that we prepared on this program today, are found in our one of our 5 cookbooks now. And right here is how you can get yours.
If you've enjoyed the recipes today and would like to purchase your own copy of one of their cookbooks, including their new cookbook, Family Favorites, you can write to 3ABN, Post Office Box 220, West Frankfort, Illinois, 62896. That's 3ABN, Post Office Box 220, West Frankfort, Illinois, 62896. Or you can call 618-627-4651. That's 618-627-4651. If you'd like to contact the Micheff sisters for speaking appointments or concerts, you can do so at their website at micheffsisters.com. That's MICHEFF, sisters.com.
Hello, I'm Tom Mann. Have you ever wondered what it takes to keep 3ABN's message fresh and up to date? We're working constantly on new programs for an ever-growing audience around the world. But how is that accomplished? After working many years in television and radio, I've realized how unusual it is for 3ABN to produce such a large percentage of original quality programming. Most Christian networks use a large number of programs produced by other ministries, and unfortunately, they have little or no control over the content. But we've been called to give a consistent message, and we do not allow the focus to become entertainment or performance-oriented. The clear vision given to Danny Shelton, our founder, was to build a television station that would reach the world with the undiluted Three Angels messages, one that would counteract the counterfeits. And that's what we strive for. We just don't provide family-friendly programming. If it's not squarely based on the Bible, our pledge to you is that it will not appear on any of our networks. When it comes to original programming, we produce 69% of our 3ABN English television content, 67% of our 3ABN Latino content, and 100% of what our Russian language channel airs. Without the Lord and all of you, that would be impossible. But we're continuously blessed with the finest teachers, preachers, health presenters, and guests day after day and year after year. So many people work together to make a television program. Producers, directors, camera operators, studio managers, lighting and audiovisual directors, and video engineers, just to mention a few. But we never forget that the message is the most important part of the equation and bringing the hope of salvation to those who haven't heard about Jesus Christ. We have only one solution: a relationship with our Savior. And whether it's a story of a changed life or a program specifically for children, we want to bring honor and glory to Him each and every minute of every day. And with 6 networks airing 168 hours of programming each week, that's a total of 1,008 hours. How can we do this with such a small staff? The answer is simple. The Lord makes it possible, and He uses you to help. From the beginning, your prayers and financial support have made it all possible. And 25 years later, our message is still strong. So thank you for all you do for 3ABN. Your prayers are felt each day, both at our ministry headquarters and all around the world. If the Holy Spirit impresses you to support 3ABN's worldwide ministry, please send your tax-deductible love gifts to 3ABN, Post Office Box 220, West Frankfort, Illinois, 62896, or call us at 618-627-4651 during regular business hours. God bless you.
Well, we sure enjoyed spending this time with you.
We did.
And we hope that sharing some of our family favorites will maybe become some of your family favorites, too.
That's right.
Right.
And we really, have a lot of variety to share with you. We have the patties and lots of loaves and all kinds of things. And I wish we had more time, but this time always goes by so fast. So until next time, may all your meals be seasoned with God's love. Bye-bye, everybody.